This app has many features that we won't have time to cover in this intro lesson. First, we will change some of the settings. On the iPad, tap on the gear right down in the bottom left to get to the settings. Next, go to Preferences down here and then Speed, and change the speed to 12. This stands for frames per second, and I'll cover more about what this number means in the later part of this video. If at some point you don't want to see tooltips, select Tooltips here, and then select No Tooltips. Then, if you don't want to hear the camera shutter sound every time you take a photograph, you can click on Shutter Sound and Disabled. On both the Android phone and tablet, go to the gear, and then Preferences, and you can change the speed right here. Go to the back arrow, go to Settings, and this is where you can turn on and off the tooltips and the shutter sound. On the Apple phone, the gear is located on the bottom left, and then you have your tooltips and your speed right here. Tap on it and change it, and go back, and then you can click on tooltips, turn them off here, and shutter sound, turn it off right there, for example. On all devices, press the file icon, and then press plus to create a new movie. First, tap on the gear icon. On tablets, it's located right here. On the phone, the gear is located right here, but if you don't see it, you can also press the back arrow in the upper right there, and then it should show up right here. Now tap on the arrow right here for playback, and select the arrows that are going in a circle. If any of these other icons are turned on and they're highlighted, just tap them to turn them off. Now when you press play on your animation, the animation will keep repeating itself. It will keep looping. Now tap the speed icon and make sure that the number is 12. If it isn't 12, don't drag it here. That's only a temporary fix. Go ahead and hit done, then exit the file, and then repeat the process we showed before where you change the speed right here and put it to 12 there. On the Apple phone, this is the done button, that little check mark. And then here's the done button for the Android phone. Next, go to the lines that are underneath the play button right over here. So there's 3 lines right underneath the play button. On the phone, if you don't see those lines, press on the camera first, then you'll see them beneath the play button right there. Then tap on M, which is for mode, and then tap on P, which means lock focus with manual exposure. Next, go to AW for white balance, and choose a different setting right here until you like what you have. I'm going to choose this one right here for mine. That usually works for my setup. Now I can choose where to focus my camera. So if I tapped here, notice how a little circle appeared, and then this is the most focused area here. Or if I tapped here, notice now that the focus is up here and this character back there is more blurry. Or I can tap in the middle on this character right here. I usually just clear off everything and tap on the character in the middle just to make sure it focuses there, and then most of the time I don't have to fix my focus again throughout my entire movie. The only time that I might adjust the focus is if my main character or the most important part of my movie is more towards the front and on the side, and then I'll adjust the focus for a bit, and then when I'm animating back over here, I'll tap here again and adjust the focus again. Just remember that it locks the focus, so you can leave it alone now that you've adjusted it. To take an animation photo on the tablet, press the red animation button on the right. On the phone, if you don't see that red button right away, just tap on this camera icon and the red button will show up. Every time you take a photo, move your object just a little bit and take another photo. Repeat this process 10 times so that you have a total of 10 photos. For the tablet, the photos that you have taken will appear below right here. We can call these frames or photos. On the phone, to find your frames, press the this arrow right up here in the upper right, and then you'll see your frames down here. To review your animation on the tablet or the phone, press the play button and then press pause to stop. Notice how it's not looping, so that's where I would go to here, press this part, go to the circle arrows, and press done. And now if I press play, it loops, plays back over and over again. You can also drag left and right on the frames below to view your animation on the phone and the tablet. If you drag left and right, but you still don't see your animation move on the tablet, then on this lever right here, pull it up and down a couple of times. Then try it again, and that should fix it. This isn't a problem on the phone, just on the tablet. The blue box is like a magnifying glass. When it hovers over a frame, that frame is expanded in this view right here. So that small frame is also shown larger up here, if it's inside the blue box. When I pull the frames through the blue box, and I do it really slowly, looks like the character is also moving very slow. But if I pull them through really quickly, looks like the character is moving a lot faster. The speed that I'm pulling these frames through the blue box is called frames per second, or FPS for short. Right now I'm playing the animation back at 2 frames per second. That means that every second that goes by, 2 frames are pulled through the blue box. Now I'm playing it back at 24 frames per second. So every 1 second that goes by, 24 frames are being pulled through that blue box. Now I'm playing it back at 12 frames per second. And we're going to use 12 frames per second for all the classes you take from me. So make sure that it's always set at 12 for the speed. The blue box also has numbers in it. So the number on the right is the total number of frames that you have. So this has 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the number on the left is which one you're on. So this is frame 1 out of 5, frame 2 out of 5. We're currently viewing frame 3 out of 5, frame 4, and then you'll notice that this is a blank frame here. It just has a camera. So the very last frame is always blank. If you're trying to find a specific frame and you have a lot of them, like I have 561 frames here, let's say I wanted to get to frame number 322. That's going to take forever by dragging these frames. So what I can do is double tap on a frame, tap tap, and it turns it into a timeline, and I can pull it along, tap tap again, and now I'm closer. So 321, there it is. There's 321 out of 561. And then when I'm done with that timeline, where I can go really fast through viewing the frames, I just double tap again to get back to the frame. On the tablet, if I want to go all the way to the end of an animation, I just tap on this button here. And if I want to go to the very beginning, I just tap right here. These buttons don't exist, however, on the phone. If you take a photograph of your hand on accident, tap on that frame first, and then press the delete key. Or if you wanted to undo that, you can just press the undo button right here. On the phone, you might have to tap the back arrow first. This is the undo button right there. If you accidentally took a bunch of hand photos and you want to erase them all at once, tap on the first frame with the hand photo in it. Tap on select. Now you can see it's turned blue, and drag your frames until the very last one that you want to erase. Tap here and then delete. And then if you've selected a bunch of things, like say I grabbed these right here and I didn't want to select them anymore, I can just tap back on here and tap deselect, and it will remove the selection. If you want to pause something during playback, let's say I want to pause the character in the midair like here, I tap on the frame that I want to pause, then I hit the pause button, and remember I teach at 12 frames per second, so if I want to pause it for 1 second, I'm going to choose 12 frames. I hit done. Now there's a 12 on there, so that means when it gets to this place in the animation, it's going to pause it for 1 whole second. Let's see what it does. Press play, pauses, and then continues. Let's say I wanted to pause this for 2 seconds. So pause. Well, it's 12 frames per second, so 2 seconds would be 24 frames. Done. Press play. So let's watch it again. Flies through the air, pauses for 2 seconds, then it keeps going. If this doesn't make any sense, don't worry about it. It'll be covered in later videos as well. On the tablet, to leave the file that you're working on and go back to the main menu, press this arrow right here. If you want to rename a file, hold it down, and then you can rename it right there, or you can just press the delete button right here if you don't want it. On the phone, to leave the file you're working on, press this little arrow in the upper left right there.